Good morning. I'd like to call this special meeting of the Common Council to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Gates is excused. Vice Mayor Mons?
Here.
Councilmember Kress?
Here.
Councilmember Lingenfelter?
Here.
Councilmember Scott Staley?
Present.
Councilmember Waite? Councilmember Yocum?
Good morning.
We have a quorum.
Could I ask you to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our first order of business and only order of business is to address Resolution 5173, canvass of the August 28, 2018 primary election. Arizona revised statutes require the governing body to canvass this type of election within 6 to 20 days of the election. Election materials will be available in the council chambers prior to the meeting for inspection by the council and/or public. Staff recommends approval of resolution number 5173. Could I have a motion to approve or resolution 5173? Is there a public?
I didn't even get a chance to put out the form.
I appreciate the question. I don't see that there is a public comment. Is there a public comment period on this?
Not unless the majority of the council wishes it.
Okay, there is no public comment period on this agenda, and I would have to ask for a motion of the council.
I'd move to allow for public comment.
Okay.
I would second that if that was a motion.
It was.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Then we have approved public comment. And do we have any requests from the audience?
You did not put out the request forms, but...
Please come forward, Steve. Please come forward for public comment.
My name is Stephen Robinson, Golden Valley, District 1 Director for the Mojave County Republican Party. I basically have one question for the council, based upon what I had said last Tuesday, a week ago. I have candidates' statements of organization, and I ask, because the statute you're using, 16645, specifically addresses partisan nomination for office to go on to the full general election. Which parties are the candidates all nominated for, or what party did anybody list on these forms? Is there any answer to that?
As you know, this is public comment, and we don't...
Well, you can respond to questions about the issue. And my point is, every one of them is nonpartisan. And I believe that that's... Sorry for the phone, I forgot to turn it off. But every one of these candidates were nonpartisan. I've looked at the last umpteen number of elections. Every one of them is a nonpartisan race. That means statute Title 9, Section 9821.01, subsection F, defines who should be on the ballot. And I just respectfully request that the council consider that fact, that it's not the partisan election division of Title 16 that determines who's on the ballot, but it's Title 9, which has been used to determine everything for the county or for city elections. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public that would like to make comments? Mr. Pettit?
Harley Pettit, resident of Kingman. It's only logical here for this canvassing here that you consider the top 4 write-in candidates for the 2 county seats in the primary election to avoid the perception of cronyism or bias. It's illogical to choose some so-called Johnny-come-lately who wasn't going through any of the process. It's also suspect that a sitting councilman and write-in candidate pulled out of the primary vote only to apply as a write-in candidate in the general election. I'm alleging inside information and coercion involving this matter. As far as the meeting goes, 24 hours and 15 minutes is questionable timing. There's no reason why this meeting couldn't be held after working hours in the middle of the week. could have been held at 6 o'clock.
Thank you. Are there any other people in the audience that would like to make comment? Hearing none, I would close the public comment period and return to the order of business, which is to address Resolution 5173. Is there a motion on the floor?
I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 5173.
Do I hear a second? Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
I have some questions regarding processes this morning. I'm troubled that Mr. Cooper isn't here. I don't know if Ms. Muley can address the process questions or if both of them should address the process questions.
Well, I think that our city clerk is willing to address the process question.
Okay. This is specifically for the write-in candidates, of course, and I think we all agree this is a very unique situation. If there was a misspelling of a name or first initial, last name misspelled, are those all judgment calls?
So those are all handled by Mojave County. We don't touch the ballots. We don't see the ballots. But what the county told me and what's required by statute is as long as there's a substantial reasonable determination on that, then yes. So like Mr. Yoakum dropped out, so I'll use him as an example. If somebody spelled his name Y-O-K-U-M instead of Y-O-C-U-M, that would be reasonable to understand who they were intending. Or S-T-E-W-A-R-T instead of S-T-U-A-R-T.
I do understand that the county is the proper place to manage all that, but had you looked at any of the signatures? I don't know what kind of oversight there is. Because this is so unique, and because we're looking at the possibility that ultimately 5 council members will be able to select 2 council positions, it's very troubling to me that it appears that we're not going to allow the top 4 candidates that received the most votes to move forward to the general election, and that they are discarded. And it seems like that's disenfranchising not only the candidates, but more importantly, the citizens.
If I may respond to that, I think it's really troubling to me that we didn't have more candidates that actually went and got all their signatures and turned in petitions. And as one council member, I don't like being put into the place of possibly having to appoint. I mean, why are we here? It's not appropriate, I don't think. So I wish that all these 4 candidates you're talking about that ran as write-ins actually went out and got their petition signatures and turned them in, so they would have been on the ballot.
With all due respect, Councilman Lingenfelter, we do have a sitting council member that has made that choice as well. But the fact is, we are where we are, and before we just completely disregard the votes that the write-in candidates received, I think that there should be a second look at the resolution that the city clerk and our city attorney has decided to apply to this election. I think we owe it to the citizens.
I think we owe it to the citizens to follow the law.
I'm sorry. Councilman, would you repeat that, please?
Yeah, I think that we owe it to the citizens of Kingman to follow the law of the state of Arizona.
Thank you. Ms. Mueller, do you have any comments about the process or the ordinance itself as written?
I'm happy to answer any questions the council has.
Okay, this is as far as I understand, this is following the law of Arizona.
Yes, and it has been reviewed thoroughly by Mr. Cooper. And before the write-in process even started, when we realized we were going to have so many write-ins, this was also vetted through the League of Arizona Cities and Towns General Counsel.
And their general counsel.
So just to make clear, after Tuesday night's meeting, we did hear what you had to say, Mr. Robinson. I did ask Carl Cooper to take a second look and get back to the council with his opinion to make sure. I said, we need to be sure. Can you please take a second look at this and contact the council? We heard the next day from the city clerk through Mr. Cooper that they had looked, they were confident, they had checked with the League of Cities and Towns. We've taken a second look, and as a council, we must rely on the legal opinions that we are given by our city attorney. So I don't want to make a judgment call today. I want to make a call based on the legal advice that I've been given by my city attorney. And I believe there will be other routes legally that this group can take if you feel that he is incorrect. But I believe for the other candidates, it's important that we approve this resolution today and move forward. As far as Mr. Pettit's comments, I would feel that this is an injustice if there wasn't an opportunity to collect signatures and ensure that your name was placed on the ballot. You have the chance to get put on the ballot by getting the required number of signatures, turning in your petition, and then if you don't do that, you can come in as a write-in. And I've always felt that going the write-in route was a little bit of a gamble for the candidates because you're not sure that you will get 537 people to write in your name. So that's where we are today, and I think we should move this forward. Sure.
Councilwoman Staley, what was presented for the writing, not for the writing, but for the initial gathering of signatures, out of 7 people that qualified, only 2 got them. Mm-hmm. The standards seem to be off kilter. I don't know what would have happened if I would have turned in my signatures I didn't have enough to turn in, but if I would have turned them in anyway, it would have been short. But to say that we didn't try, no, that's really pretty insulting.
I'm not saying you didn't try it, Mr. Pettit. I'm not saying you didn't try it. I'm just saying there was 2 chances.
Out of 7 people, only 2 people.
Mr. Pettit, this is really out of order, I believe.
Got enough signatures to get on the ballot, and 1 is suspect because he withdrew and left for a job. Thank you.
This is a bit out of order, and I think we'll not do that again. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, is there any other discussion of the council?
I have another question for Ms. Mooley. Has the question been posed to the League about the option of keeping the 4 top candidates on the ballot for November?
No, it has not, because they specifically cited Title 16, in which the candidates would be eliminated if they did not get the minimum number of votes as the same number of signatures required.
So we did not ask the League.
I did not ask them that specific question, no, because they had told me that if a candidate runs in an election, fails to get that minimum, they're done.
Any other discussion?
I don't know procedurally, so somebody will have to counsel me on this, please. I would ask to make a different motion or amend the motion to include the top 4 candidates that received the top number of votes. And procedurally, I don't know how
so that would change the resolution, so we would not be able to approve the resolution as presented today. But procedurally, because there is a motion on the floor, that would need to be voted upon. And then because it would change this resolution, we would have to take this back, if that was the will of the entire council, and present you with an updated, amended resolution.
Sydney, wouldn't we also be then asking to change the statutes, which would follow from then on out? So we can't make an exception just one time.
We can't change state statute. So really a challenge to state statute has to go through Superior Court.
I think that the alternatives for following the law have been, as we have it in front of us and are implementing it, have been explained to the public. And I think, as you mentioned, our responsibility is to act on it as we understand the law based on our legal counsel. So at this point, I think I would call for the vote and act on the motion that we have on the floor. And I think I'll call for a roll call vote, please.
Start with the bottom up. Councilmember Yocum.
Aye.
Councilmember Staley.
Yay.
Councilmember Lingenfelter. Councilmember Lingenfelter. Is the phone still green?
No, would it be, you said green?
Yeah. Okay. Must have lost the call. Councilmember Kress.
Nay.
And Vice Mayor Miles.
Yay.
Motion passes 3-1.
Thank you. Okay, I think that concludes the business of the council today, so could I have a motion for adjournment?
I move we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.